Hello, I'm Tom MAHER. I'm the coach of the Chinese women's national team.
Well, Tom, what can you tell us about the Chinese? Are you feeling very optimistic right now, looking ahead to the Olympics a few months away?
Yes, I am. We've got better. There's an urgency about the Olympics this year, and the players are a lot more enthusiastic. And FIBA has come back, so that gives us a talent infusion. So nothing's better than talent. So an extra player makes a huge difference, and the team's doing a lot better.
This Olympic test event, how important is this for China in your preparations as a team?
Oh, I'm sure it's very important to us. I mean, being a test event, there's some difficulties, but for us, I mean, just to get a feel for the venue and playing it in front of your home team, home crowd, etc. I'm sure it's got all sorts of benefits.
You've had some changes, additions to your coaching staff. What can you tell us about that?
No, it's just the normal hustle and bustle. We had good staff last year. We've got good staff this year. That's just a change.
But you brought in a player that used to play for you for a long time, in Michelle Timms.
Yeah, Michelle Timms. She was coaching in the men's league in Australia. She was an assistant for one of the men's teams, and there was some issues there, and we had the chance to pick her up. She brings to the coaching bench the same sort of positive enthusiasm, never say die attitude that she had as a player. She's a legend as a player, and it really shows through. And it's she's a smart player anyway, so she's going to be a famous coach one day, I think.
Hey, listen, you're going to be the coach, I think, that's coached the most of these teams at the Olympics. Have you thought about that? You've coached Australia, you've coached New Zealand, and now you're coaching China.
Well, I'm not going to say that's not something I thought of when I took the job. I thought of being a coach at two home Olympics, and this would be my fourth Olympics. So it's a wonderful experience, and it's been that's all good.
Your interview for FIBA was amazing when you were talking about the opportunity to live in China and to get to experience a different country like this. What's it been like, just the day-to-day living for you here?
Oh, much better than even what I'd hoped. I think the West has some antiquated ideas of China, and I get the Western news on TV and stuff. We've got a satellite and things, so you hear references to communist China. I mean, you wouldn't know you're living in any other. It's all the same, people to people, and it's it's been they're really helpful and friendly, and the food is. I've learned a lot about food. It's a big hobby of mine. And,
okay, so tell me, what is the best food again? Did you say it was Beijing duck?
Well, it's tough. I think there's a dish called Hong Shou roll, which is like red meat.
Yeah.
That was Mao Zedong's favourite dish, and it's got like 1,000 calories an item, but it's pretty special.
How is it with your kids living here in China?
Great. I think it's been a really fantastic. My boy's gone back to Australia. He's now a farmhand back in Victoria. That's a good experience for him. And my little girl, she goes to school here. She's not here now. She's in a football tournament. So it's been great for them.
And the language issue, what's that been like for you? Does it make things impossible? Do you have to have a translator?
You have to have a translator. It is hard. You can't communicate the same way. Especially, you don't realise how many pictures you paint with words. You don't use your language in a real formal manner often. You really, there's so many little phrases and analogies we make, and you don't realise how much it is until you try to communicate. And, that's been a little bit sad, really, because it's sort of there's a you can't bridge that gap as well as you'd like to.
Sure.
But it's it's nothing in Europe to have a different language. So, but we've got translators, and it's players. I think the players just handle it anyway.
Yeah. The Olympics coming to us any city is special, as it did in Australia with Sydney. Beijing, has it really been taken over by Olympic fever?
I think they're really. I mean, the incredible building and development. That's been unbelievable, unprecedented, I'm sure. The people will really get into it. I think they're a bit disappointed that the torch relay has met with some difficulty, but look, I'm sure Beijing will embrace this, the whole of China will embrace it. They're sure they can put on a great show, and you know, just anything else, they want to show they're a good world citizen and that they can put on a first-class event.
Listen, I just have to ask you one more question, just about the women's competition going into this event. Who do you like? What are the teams that really intrigue you, especially since you've coached Australia before and New Zealand, so you have a lot of insight?
Yeah, well, women's basketball's been on the up now. So I think after 2000 it went severely, so many players retired and it went downhill, and Athens had started to go again, and it's going to be much stronger here now. And I think the Czech Republic would have to think that if they didn't get something this time, they've had a pretty good group to not get too much. You know, they won a Euros. The Spanish team, you have to like what phenomenal spirit. You know.
Yeah.
I think if Latvia make it, I don't think they'll win a medal, but I think they'll surprise people. Their two-star players are such great leaders. I think, you know,
with Jakobsen and Gunter Basko.
Yes, Basko. And you know, I mean, when Basko at the Euros has broken her arm and dislocated her elbow, and she's shooting foul shots with her. I mean, that was good for me. I enjoyed it. Shooting foul shots with the other hand, but I think, you know, the US, Australia, and Russia, they're clearly big three, clearly, and it's an interesting time because the US team, you know, when they didn't do well in Barcelona and they had that unbelievable preparation for Atlanta, and I think that team has ridden on that preparation for a long time.
Yeah.
And with a turnover of players, without that preparation, it makes them more vulnerable. They're still wonderful, and their possession game is still fantastic. But Australia, I think, are better now from the world's.
Really?
Yeah, they've got some great young athletes, and you know, with Roke Cox coming into the team, I'm sure she'll make the team. You know, she is a flat-out handful, and you know, she can be a big star overnight. So I think they're better. Bakovic has come back into the fold. So you know, that's a big plus for them.
You talk about star power. So all of these teams have stars that you're talking about.
Well, the Russians, I mean, it's ridiculous how many good players the Russians have got. But, you know, and they're talking about, you know, selecting maybe an American transferee. You know, that, you know, I think the Russian point guard's great, but they seem to have a problem with it. You know, she can play for me, but so, you know, maybe that might make them strong. But look, they can win it for sure. Russia can win it. Australia is going to be you know, Jackson, Taylor, Harrower. I mean, I can't say that the US are favourites for the first time.
Even with Lisa Leslie coming back? Well, she's important though, isn't she?
She's important. You know, she's a different sort of bunch of problems, you know, that other people might give you. But she's not going to beat Jackson.
Yeah. Hey, it's been awesome catching up with you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, man. Take care. Thanks, Tom.